Hey, what's up? This is TJ. Thanks for joining me here on my channel. Today we're looking at new software from Arturia. Soft synth I know they all have been hoping for. It is the JUP-8000 V. Arturia's emulation of the legendary techno synth, the Roland JP-8000. Let's check it out, man. Okay, YouTube disclosure time. I am one of many awesome Arturia beta testers, and this software was provided to me for that purpose. Arturia has no say over the content of this video. They don't even know I'm making it. And if it sucked, I would tell you. But I would tell you this, that it does not suck. In fact, I would think that many people are going to prefer this over the original hardware because it comes with some really awesome new features that'll make your techno dreams come true for sure. I have here the desktop version of the JP-8000. This is the JP-880, and I can tell you that the new software sounds very, very much like it.
All right, you already heard a couple sound samples. If you want to hear more of those right away, you can go to the end of the video. I have over 30 different sound samples. Very cool stuff. It sounds really awesome, I think. But before we get to that, here I want to go and do a quick walkthrough of all the features. This being the front panel here, looks similar to the original, but there are some things moved around, obviously quite a bit. But those who have used the original hardware will be easily familiar with it. Let's go into the oscillator section here. You'll see here there is an oscilloscope. Very handy. Okay, and in the oscillator one, you'll have all of the waveforms that you would expect for the synth, right? You got the supersaw, triangle mod, noise, feedback oscillator, square, sawtooth, and triangle. All right, and then you have individual parameters for each one. These will change as we go through them. You'll see that. All right. They will change. Okay. So let's give them a quick listen, and I'll mess around with some of the parameters here. So, supersaw. With the LFO, turn the LFO rate up. Sounds almost like a wavetable. Feedback oscillator. This is a very unique oscillator. Square, pulse width. All right, sawtooth, the regular sawtooth. That also can be modulated by the LFO. So those are the basic waveforms. Oh, forgot the triangle. Let's go to that. So that does some wave folding there. Going to the second oscillator, we're going to turn this all the way over on the mix section, you have 3 waveforms, just as it is on the original hardware. You have triangle, sawtooth, and square pulse. Right. And for the square pulse, you can change the pulse width. And that has its own pulse width modulation function. Okay, moving on to the filter. Let's see, this has all basically the same functions that you would expect in any filter. You have a low pass, band pass, high pass, 12 dB, 24 dB, right there. Let's listen to the filter. All right. That's 24 dB, 12 dB. That has a nice gentle sound. All right, you have the envelope here. It is velocity sensitive, okay, and you can set positive or negative parameters within all of these given dials here, except for obviously the velocity. This pan section here is not actually on the original hardware. It is in the menu section, but now it's up on the front panel here, so that's very convenient. The amp section, all right, has its individual, as you would expect, envelope. It's velocity sensitive. The LFO can be positive or negative, and then this volume is for the individual preset volume, so that's really cool. Moving over to the mod section, this is for your mod wheel and bend. It could be routed to the pitch, filter, or the amp. You have your glide here, okay. This is the ARP button. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. The oscillator comm section is on the original hardware. This is where you can assign the LFO and or this auxiliary envelope, this attack delay envelope here, and it can be assigned to oscillator 1, 2, to combined, or oscillator 2, or to the X mod. Let's turn on the X mod. In order for us to hear that, we have to put the mix together with both of them. Now I'm going to come up here, I'm going to go to the Super Saw, and you're going to see that the X mod grayed out. All right, if I go through them, it'll come up here for the triangle mod, but not for the noise, and it'll come up for the rest of them. That is because the Super Saw and the noise X mod is not available on the original hardware, so it's very much like that here on the JUP-8000 V. Let's go down to somewhere where we can hear it. Say the triangle. Okay. Capable of some really craziness. All right, let's go back to here. And you have an LFO section, just like on the original hardware. It is very similar in terms of the types of waveforms that you can get. Okay. The fade in for it. There's a tone section on the original hardware as it is here. Where you can emphasize the bass or treble. And then there's this FX section, which is a little different than the original hardware, and I'm going to go through that in a moment when we get to the advanced functions. All right, but before we get to the advanced, I just want to come to the bottom here. These are the voicing modes, and the original hardware is 8 voices polyphony, but you can go up to 12 or 16. Obviously, each higher amount is going to use more DSP, so use that wisely. You have a mono retrig and a mono legato. Okay, let's go into the advanced section. This is where this turns this VST, this software, this plugin into something completely much more different. All right, so you have a couple things here. You have this multi-art, okay, and this is also where you'll see the sequencer. And then you have this effects section, all right. Big thing with the effects section is this transgate here. So these two items here, plus the sequencer, we'll turn that on here. This is where you get to the sequencer. Really allow for the JUP-8000 V to shine and takes it further than the original hardware. Playing around with the sequencer, if you come down here, you can see a bunch of different sequences that are already here for you to play with. Right? Let's, I don't know, let's pick a bass line here. All right. you can pick all different things. I'll try a different one. How about an arpeggio? All right. Okay, you can do so much here. I can't even spend enough time to go through all this. You can select the swing. You can select the scaling, sequencer scale for all these different types of scales. So much you can do here. The ARP, the multi-ARP is extremely powerful. You can get up to 4 ARPs going here. Let's pick one of these here. All right. All right, that's all 4 going at once. All right, I can select the type of ARP here. Lots of fun here. This is the rhythm of which it chooses. There's also a number of defaults here. When you go to the preset sounds that I've played in the end of the video, the sound samples, you're going to hear this quite often, and you'll be able to see how well it works. All right, I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to go here to the effects section, because another really cool thing is the transgate. You can turn this dry wet up here, okay, and then you'll see also on the panel it goes up here in tandem with that. And again, there's all these different presets here, right? Shape. Oh, here, I'm sorry. All right. Eight steps. All right. That's the shape, excuse me. And you can do this manually if you like. Add, subtract. Go either direction. Do a lot of really cool stuff. Again, go to the sound samples at the end of the video. You'll be hearing that quite a bit. You have the, turn that off here. All right, you have the different effects, the chorus, delay. This is the original simulation of the JUP-8000 chorus. You can turn it up here or here. I'm going to turn it up here just for fun. Again, an emulation of the delay. All right, and then, you know, here you can select whatever you want. All right, these are presets per given selection of effect, and then you can select all the different types of effects that are available in any one of these slots. Very, very cool. Now let's take a look at these functions. These are the modulators here. All right, there are 3 slots here, and they can be selected for the same thing in all 3 or all different ones. You have all these different selections. You have the function, which is essentially an LFO, the envelope, random, a voice modulator, as well as a mod sequencer. So you can select each one of these. Let's go back to the function, and then you can assign it to whatever, you know, that you wish. Like, for example, if I wanted to assign this to the shape, okay, of this triangle wave, I can increase the amount here. All right, let's take it over here so you can hear it better. That's good. Now if I come over here, you can see the destination over here. You can also change it. If I wanted to move this to something else, say for example the cutoff, all right. And now here you can see all the destinations of this given function. All right, so you can come over to the next one. Let's say we want to select the mod sequencer. I'll put it here, the 16 steps, and I can just draw if I want to. All right, and I'm going to assign this. I don't know, where do we want to assign this to? Let's assign this to the resonance. All right. Alright, and I can change the rate here. Let's go a little faster. And then here you can see it being modulated. Alright, let's do a bandpass here. So you get the idea there, right? Let's go back and bring up a new default here. So now I can show you, right, these functions here. This is for the keyboard. If you highlight that, all right, it's going to show you all these different functions for the mod wheel, tracking, velocity, release velocity, aftertouch, or you can actually get to them up here. Again, this is where you can drag and assign it to wherever which you want. Like if I want the key tracking assigned to the filter, right, to here. And then I can select the curve, whatever I choose. Oops, here we are, key tracking. And then it'll show you all the destinations here. Now you can do the same with all these given ones. Velocity, release velocity, very cool. Aftertouch. And then this is an MPE capable synth, so you can assign the Y or slide parameter to any given source there. There's also a set of macros, okay, that you can assign multiple things to. So that's really, really cool. All right, enough of me talking here. Let's get into the sound samples. Take a listen to those. There's a whole bunch of them. There's like over 30 of them. When you're done listening to that, you can catch me at the end. Thanks so much.
that's it. Now there's finally an excellent emulation of the Roland's JP-8000. It's the Arturia JUP-8000 V. I want to thank you so much for checking out this channel, checking out the video, supporting TJ on the Road, tjontheroad.com. Subscribe. I very much appreciate it. I will see you next time.